Hello. Good evening to one and all. Good evening to one and all. Today we are going to discuss about daily current affair news which appeared in Indian Express newspaper for the date 27th June 2023, brought to you by Ganesh IAS Academy. Okay, let's get straight into the news. The first news is Delhi showcase deer park to be shut down. Its deer to be shifted. This was the news that which appeared today. What does the news talks about is the Central Zoo Authority has cancelled ANJA Deer Park as mini zoo, and then they have decided to relocate nearly 600 deers which is present in those park to the forest area of Rajasthan as well as Delhi. Second one, since the park falls under the jurisdiction of Delhi Development Authority, they have decided to maintain the park after shifting the deer to the Rajasthan as well as Delhi as protected forest. This was the news which came today. So we have to go one step deeper into the news to identify what are all the factual as well as conceptual element that is present inside the news. So, what is the reason why they are shifting the deers to the other area? Is mainly because of the overcrowding of deers. What does that overcrowding means? Overcrowding means the growth of population of a species which is uncontrollable because of the absence of natural predators. Whenever there is lack of predator, means those species those species like deers will get multiplied because there won't be any kind of predator to hunt them or to check their population growth, as a result of which the natural element it's getting affected and the corresponding ecosystem of the park is also getting affected. So in order to protect the degradation of the forest and also protect the deer species, because of the overcrowding of deer species in the park, there won't be any kind of species diversity taking place inside the park, as a result of which if there is any kind of natural disaster or man-made disaster occurs, means then the whole population of the deer will get wiped out. So they are, because of these two reasons, they wanted to shift their places from this ANJ Deer Park to the other park which is present in the Rajasthan as well as uh, Delhi. So, which authority is responsible for ordering us or deciding about their translocation is Central Zoo Authority. So, what does the Central Zoo Authority mean? Under which ministry? What are all its function? Let's get நம்ம அது என்னன்றதை we'll பார்ப்போம். First, Central Zoo Authority is a statutory body under Ministry of Environment. It was created during 1991 through an amendment of Wildlife Protection through an amendment of Wildlife Protection Act 1972. The authority consists of chairman, 10 members, and a member secretary. The objective is to strengthen and complement the national effort in conservation of the rich biodiversity of the country, and also enforcing minimum standard and norms for upkeep and health care of the animals in the zoo. And also they are also responsible for controlling any kind of illegal or unplanned zoo which is present inside the uh, country. Every zoo in the country, as I said, uh, need to obtain permission from the Central Zoo Authority to start uh, its operation. Second, another important function of Central Zoo Authority is it regulates the exchange of animals of endangered categories listed in the Schedule 1 and Schedule 2 of Wildlife Protection Act to any other place. For example, take the case of this news itself. So they reintroducing the deer from the Anja Deer Park in Delhi to other places of Rajasthan and Delhi. So the approval should be given by Central Zoo Authority only, because they are the functional responsibility to regulate the relocation or translocation of Schedule 1 and Schedule 2 animals from one place to another place. Since after translocation of the deer to the other part of the other states, the remnant that the park would be uh, converted into protected forest by Delhi Development Authority. This was the news. Then what does this protected forest mean? It was created. It has legal protection under Indian Forest Right Act 1927, under which a state government by notification declare a certain places or a wasteland into a uh, protected forest if it is a property of government or the property which has which the through in which the government has any kind of stake. Another important news is another important function of the function or essentialities of the protected forest is local communities often have there won't be any hindrance for the people those who are present inside the protected forest to carry out their traditional livelihood activity which they are been doing for years and years together. Protected forest likewise can be converted in the future into the national park and wildlife sanctuaries. Protected forests are declared to prevent the degradation of natural resources. And then another essentiality is the protected forest makes up at least 1/3 of the total forest area in India. This is the reason why they are converting the deer park into the protected forest, because they wanted to prevent the degradation of the natural resources, and also make if there is any kind of local communities present in those areas to carry on their traditional activities. So if required in future means they would be converting those into the national as well as wildlife sanctuaries. These are the essentialities of protected forest. So what we needed to study further so that we were able to have a clear understanding about the news and also the peripheral area of the news is that we have to know about Wildlife Protection Act. Since we have seen the functionalities of Central Zoo Authority, then we also should know about Wildlife Protection Act 1972, which is responsible for creating Central Zoo Authority. What are all its provision? What are all the body under which was created under this WPA Act 1972, and what are all the function of those bodies which was created under this act? Second is IUCN guideline for reintroduction of animal from one place to another place. IUCN, this reintroduction of animals takes place under the guidelines of Government of India and also by the guidelines given by the IUCN. What are these guidelines? What are the essentialities that needed to be taken into account while we are translocating or reintroducing the deer from one place to another place, or one animal to another, one animal from one place to another place? Then we have to know about what is Indian Forest Right Act 1927. Since the protected forest comes and has a uh, uh, legal sanctions uh, given by the Indian Forest Right Acts, there are also two types of forest. Another is reserve forest and village forest. What does the reserve forest and village forest means? What are all the proportion of which these forests are present in India, and what are all the essentialities? Likewise, we have what we have seen in the protected forest. We have to see for the reserve forest as well as the village forest also. So, since the forest is going to be maintained by Delhi Development Authority, under whose jurisdiction that forest is coming, we have to know about the Delhi Development Authority and its function, and under which ministry this body is coming. So we have to know about it, and also we have to know about the deer, uh, whether it is present in Schedule 1 or Schedule 2 of WPA Act, that is Wildlife Protection Act 1972. Um, Sites protection given to the deer. CITES is an international treaty to protect the wildlife. So what does this site mean? What are the protection given to the whether the deer is given high protection or low protection? What kind of protection we have given? We have to know about it. In what type of vegetation these deers will be thriving? What type of vegetation? Then and another thing is soil, and who are all there uh, predators, and ecological benefits of deers. Since these are all the things we have to know about deer while we are while we are learning this, studying this news. Another important news which came today is uh, a scheme, MSME competitive scheme, competitive lean scheme is being promoted by Government of India. Is the news that appeared today. So what does this scheme means for MSME? It is an initiative to enhance the competitiveness of MSMEs. Lean. So, what does lean mean? Lean is internationally acknowledged process to transform an organization to be compatible and profitable by reducing wastage. What kind of wastage we will see in the coming slides. Third is to enhance the domestic as well as global competitiveness of MSMEs through the application of various lean techniques, which includes reduction in reduction by applying various lean techniques or lean tools to enhance the competitiveness of MSMEs by rejection rates. Whenever a particular MSME is applying for credit in domestic as well as any international bodies, the most of the MSMEs credit loan application is getting rejected because of the lack of poor governance, poor structure, and poor turnouts, so on and so forth. So to reduce those rejection rates as well as the products and raw material movements, and also increase the efficiency of their production cost. And second important component is optimization of space utilization. Space utilization is one of the most important problem of MSMEs. Resource and also the usage to make MSMEs to efficiently use resources, natural resources like water, energy, and so on and so forth. And also to enhancement of quality in the products as well as process, production and export capabilities, workplace safety, knowledge and skill sets, innovation and work culture, social and environmental accountability, profitability, introduction and awareness of industry 4.0, and digital empowerment. So these are all the current trends which is happening around the world. So they wanted, government of India wanted these trends to be inculcated into the MSMEs which is present in the India. This MSME competitive lean scheme can be attained in 3 levels after registering and taking the lean pledge. This that is basic level, which could be those which we what we have the those reforms and the reduction of wastage which we have seen in the previous slides can could be attained in 3 levels, that is basic, intermediate, and advanced. The basic level, if the government, if MSME wanted to make those reforms which we have seen above at basic level, means it will take around 2 months. If they wanted to attain the intermediate level of those reforms, means it will take 6 months. Then for advanced level it will take 12 months. So as we, since the it comes under Ministry of MSME, what we needed to study further. Since today is International MSME Day, we have to know about why this international, why, who recognized this day as International MSME Day, and what is the reason behind it, and what is the future ahead for MSME sectors in India as well as global. What is the function of MSME in agriculture as well as manufacturing as well as service sectors, and classification of MSMEs according which was proposed recently. We have to know about this, how the MSMEs are classified, or what are the criteria required to consider a particular industry as medium scale, small scale, or micro scale, large scale industries. Another important news is Center approves 56,415 crores to 16 states for capital investments. About the Center has released so much of amount to boost capital investment in 16 states under a scheme called Special Assistance to State for Capital Investment 2023-2024. This special assistance to state for capital investment, what does this scheme means is, it is being provided to state government in the form of 50 years interest-free loan up to an overall sum of rupees 1.3 lakh crore during the financial year 2023-2024. The scheme has 8 parts. Part 1 being the largest with allocation of 1 lakh crore. Out of the 1.3 lakh crore, the highest importance is being given to the part 1 component of the scheme, that is 1 lakh crore. This amount has been allocated among state in proportion to their share of central taxes and duties as per the award of 15th Finance Commission. So they are distributed in the according to the proportion of share of the central tax and duties awarded by the 15th Finance Commission. Other parts, that is, other than part 1, there are another 7 parts are there. These 7 parts uh, of the scheme are linked to the reforms which the reforms the government has specified in the certain sectors. If they are achieving those reforms in those sectors means, then correspondingly the amount will be released to the states for the capital expenditure in those states. It comes under the, since it relates it relates to expenditure of the central government. It comes under the Department of Expenditure under the Ministry of Finance. So, since the news revolves around the capital expenditure, what does this capital expenditure mean? Expenditure that creates permanent assets and yield periodical income and loan given to the state as well as local bodies. These all comes under uh, this is what comes under capital expenditure. There are two ways through which the an expenditure is called as capital expenditure is money spent recovered through the periodical income and disposal of the asset created is called these two are the routes through which the expenditure is called a capital expenditure. One minute. So, okay, now what we needed to study further. Since the question and the news is related to capital expenditure, we have to know about what is revenue receipts, capital receipts, as well as revenue expenditure. What are all the components that constitutes revenue receipts, capital receipts, as well as capital expenditure and revenue expenditure. What does the Article 34A of the Indian Constitution says? Why the what are all the constituents? Another important thing is deficits. What does deficit mean? What are all the types of deficit and what is the difference between those deficits? So we have to be aware of it. Another important thing is what is direct tax, what are indirect tax, what are all the constituents of, or what are all the tax which comes under direct as well as indirect tax. So we have to be aware of this information so that we could able to um, have a broad understanding about the scheme as well as the news which came today. So let's discuss about the previous year question paper which was asked and which was asked from the topic which we discussed today. With reference to expenditure made by an organization or company, which one of the following statement is or are correct? Acquiring a new technology is capital expenditure. Debt financing is considered capital expenditure, while equity financing is considered revenue expenditure. Yes, whenever a company or industry is investing in machines or capital equipments, it is called as capital expenditure only. In modern day era, the technological part also acts as capital only. So the expenditure made on it is called capital expenditure only because by acquiring these technology or machines or capitals which is required for the successful running of the industry, there would be some return in the forms of output produced by those technologies or machines or infrastructure. So this is called as capital expenditure. The debt financing is considered as capital expenditure. Not necessarily, because the debt financing is financing by using கடன் வாங்கி ஸ்பெண்ட் பண்றது தான் debt finance by borrowing. It can be either done in the capital instruments or in the revenue instrument. Not all the time the expenditure made under the debt financing is called as capital expenditure. Similarly, equity financing is considered. Equity means it's a kind of share, the kind of ownership or proportion of the share that a person or a company is acquiring in another company is called capital expenditure only, because they are acquiring a part of share or ownership in the another company, as a result of which they would be getting dividend or interest rate periodically. So equity financing is considered as capital expenditure, not revenue type of expenditure. So the statement second is wrong. Statement one is only correct. Another important previous year question is, which of the following are included in the capital budget of Government of India? As I have said, as we have previously discussed, what are all the when we are discussing capital expenditure, I have told you to know about what is revenue receipts, capital receipts, revenue expenditure, as well as capital expenditure, and what are all the constituents which comes under those type of those corresponding receipts as well as expenditures. So which one of the following are included in the capital budgets of India? Expenditure and acquisition of asset like roads, building and machinery. Yes, the statement is correct, because the similar like statement we have seen in the previous question. Loans received from the foreign government. Yes, loans and advances granted to the state and union territory. Yes, this also comes under capital expenditure only, or capital budget of the Government of India. Capital receipts as well as capital expenditures of the Government of India. So all these three statements are correct. See, the news are coming. Just by understanding by reading the news, we could not able to. There is no use in just reading the news. First, we have to read the news. Then we have to go deeper into one step deeper into the news, so that we could we could able to understand the conceptual part of the news. Then we have to know about the peripheral area, or what are all the other constituents which helps us to enrich our understanding about those news. So if we are aware of this, that means we could easily able to crack those questions which are coming in the prelims. See, this is also a similar question which we have discussed previously in the previous news. Another important prelims question is, which one of the following are most likely places which musk deer is in its natural habitat? Musk deer is a kind of deer which is present in the temperate type of climates. These temperate type of climates are present on Ascot Wildlife Sanctuary and Gangotri National Park, because they are present in the northern part of India, that is in Himalayas, where most of the climate will be corresponds to the temperate types of climates. But this Kishanpur and Manas, Kishanpur is present in Rajasthan, Manas, as we all know, is present in Assam. These two national park are dry deciduous as well as moist deciduous kind of vegetation present in those wildlife sanctuary as well as national park correspondingly. But those two, Ascot Wildlife Sanctuary, which is present in Uttarakhand, and Gangotri National Park is also present in the Himalayan region. These two national park have a temperate type of climate which is suitable for these musk deer to thrive in those habitat through in this vegetation. So this is also, while we are discussing about as we geography, anything related to geography, I have mentioned that geography does not mean only landmass. It also means soils, vegetations, the wildlife as flora or fauna which is present which which uses these vegetation as their habitat, as well as the tribal people and their economy. It is also similar like question which so if you are aware of those things means we could able to clearly eliminate as well as bring the answer for this question. For this question the answer is, as we have eliminated, it is 1 and 2 only. So this is the UPSC mains question. I want those students, those who are watching it in the online, to comment the answer point for this question, so that when all the people are coming together and giving their stock point or the point for this answer means there could be enriching of point. As I have already said, it is it these mains question will means points enrichment will take place only through the group discussion, which the Ganesh IAS Academy is providing by making making you to comment or provide the stock points in the comment section, so that other people also be able to know the viewpoint of other, so that we could able to know the viewpoint of other people's, which we may not aware of most of the time. So I want people, please do comment in the comment section. So thank you aspirants for watching the daily current affairs news. Please do comment, please do like, please do subscribe for the Ganesh IAS Academy, so that you could able to receive notification related to the current affairs as well as any other videos which the Academy, Ganesh IAS Academy, is posting it on online. Thank you.